Hi, I'm Justin Woods, and this is Swow Dinodig. A wise man once said, "Don't count your Casey Lopez's before they're hatched." But that's a topic for another day. What I'd like to talk about today is some of the amazing technology that we've got on this project. We're in camp here in the middle of a huge cattle ranch in the middle of nowhere, and yet we have internet access. How is that possible? Well, take a gander at this satellite dish, HughesNet satellite dish behind me. It provides us with high-speed, high-quality internet access in the middle of nowhere. Let's see how it works. We're inside the building here at camp, and this corner that we're in specifically is kind of the network operations center, if you will. The heart of it is this unit right here, which is the HughesNet HN9000. It's what is connected to the satellite dish outside and gives us our internet connection. Another cool piece of technology we got here is this server, which I've set up to automatically back up all the scientific data that we capture during the day, which is mainly our GPS positional data from each bone, and then pictures of each bone, is automatically uploaded back to our servers at Southwestern across the internet using our HughesNet internet. So all of our data is backed up all the time. So a couple years ago we decided it would be amazing if we could get the same great HughesNet internet access that we've got here in camp, if we could extend that all the way out to the quarries, which are about a mile in that direction. Well, there's a big hill in between, and Wi-Fi doesn't do so well with hills. You need line of sight and whatnot. So the solution we came up with was to install that bad boy you see up there on the end of that pipe, which is a highly directional Wi-Fi antenna and a Wi-Fi access point all integrated into one package. So it's pointing up the hill to our next hop, which is a Wi-Fi repeater. I'm on top of Wi-Fi Hill. Right down there you can see our camp. We're about a third of a mile from camp up here. And what happens here is the Wi-Fi signal from camp is being beamed up here to this white antenna. And then attached to this antenna is this little white piece down here, and that's actually a wireless Wi-Fi access point. It's really cool. It takes in the Wi-Fi signal and then it repeats it back out of this antenna, and then it's going to be picked up down there at the quarries. We're on top of GPS Hill now, and this is where the real action happens. This is our GPS base receiver, and it's sitting here collecting information from all the GPS satellites in orbit right now. And since it is at a fixed known location, when it calculates its GPS location, it computes the difference between its known location and the position that the GPS tells it that it has. And whether that's a few inches or a few meters, it calculates that correction and sends it out as via a radio link through this antenna here. That signal is then picked up by another unit similar to this one that can roam around, and that unit takes that correction and compares it with its own calculated GPS position, and it can then compute an extremely precise location fix on the order of 2 millimeters. So this station right here is the final link in our Wi-Fi repeater network. Again, we've got the solar panel to charge the battery and whatnot, but this is the heart of it right here. This is a Wi-Fi access point, but it's got a highly directional antenna built right in. So what's happening is this antenna is pointed straight at that Wi-Fi repeater that we saw up on the hill earlier, and so that's about 2/3 of a mile. So it's It's not close, but it picks up the Wi-Fi signal and allows for internet access here in this area, which is useful for a number of reasons. We sometimes need to fix our equipment in the field, and it's nice to be able to look up repair information from the field instead of having to go back to camp to do it. So it's come in quite handy on a number of occasions. We are up here on Cell Phone Hill, so called because it's the highest hill that you can see for quite a ways actually, and camp is just down there, so it's fairly close. People can walk up here and make cell phone calls, but it also is a great place to put our own wireless equipment. We've got two different pieces of technology up here. One you can see is this white antenna, which runs back through this cable to this tub here. Inside that tub is a walkie-talkie repeater for our walkie-talkies, and what happens is every time we talk on the radio, the signal comes back to this antenna, this thing picks it up, and then it rebroadcasts it with more power on a different channel. So we've got all our walkie-talkies set up to use it. We've actually gone as far as Newcastle and beyond, which is a good hour's drive away, still being able to talk with these walkie-talkies because of our repeater. Another cool thing is this device down here. It's in a plastic bag to keep it from getting wet, but this is a repeater also, but for our GPS equipment. So we have our GPS base on a hill, maybe 3/4 of a mile in that direction, and it sits there sending out GPS corrections over a radio link, which this repeater picks up on this antenna and rebroadcasts it on a different channel, much the same principle as our walkie-talkies. And what that does is allows us to choose on our GPS rovers, which Rose is holding, that allows us to choose between one frequency, which is the frequency that's being used on GPS Hill down that way, or the frequency of this repeater. So if we get into a kind of a blind spot where we can't see one of them, we can usually see the other, which means that now we can range over a much larger area with our GPS equipment and still get a good signal. So it's pretty great. And then this here, of course, is a solar panel. This solar panel, power from this solar panel runs through this charge controller, and then from the charge controller to this car battery, and the charge controller keeps the car battery from overcharging and keeps it happy. And then this car battery, of course, runs the repeater for the walkie-talkies and for the GPS radio. So we got some pretty cool stuff up on this hill.